Welcome back to Twin Cities Live. I'm filling in while Steve is on assignment in LA and hanging out with Fallon from KDWB today. She's doing a great job.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, yeah,
You're too kind.
Just a little positive reinforcement because we're about to cook something that I'm not that great at. So here we go. Okay, so how do you feel about spicy foods?
They scare me a lot. My friends will eat peppers like it's an actual meal, and I don't understand that.
Okay,
because I'm not good with it.
Clearly that is not this friend because I cannot do that, but apparently it's one of the hottest trends in spicy foods right now. It's something called Harissa, and here to tell us what it is and how to cook with it, we welcome co-owner of Cafe 421, Antigoni Sander McCloud. Hey, Antigoni.
Hi, ladies.
Okay, first and foremost, I have to admit that spice to me, I think I'm like a lot of Minnesotans, that pepper is like a spice to me.
I'm a little concerned for today's offering.
It's going to be good.
I'm not going to
go for it.
I feel like when you try it, like Fallon said, we just jump in because then every once in a while I'm like, oh, it's just there is a truth to the heat and the warmth that it just has to be done right.
And it's a balancing act, and I think harissa is actually a wonderful ingredient to start with if you are a little bit afraid of too much spice, because there are all sorts of different levels of harissa. So sometimes you hear the word pepper and like alarms go off and you just think this is gonna be so spicy, but not all pepper dishes are super spicy. They add a depth of flavor to everything that you're eating.
Okay, so first and foremost, first of all, I called it harissa. It's harissa.
It's both.
Is it both?
Yeah, because, all right, so I work with a young lady who lived in Morocco for a while, and she said to me, oh, harissa. And I was like, it is harissa, isn't it? But I believe here we would say harissa or something like that. So all those words are pronounced differently depending on where you're from.
Well, let's dig into what we're going to do, but while we're doing that, kind of explain what it is exactly, like where it comes from, all that good stuff.
So harissa is a pepper blend, and how you generally make it is by taking peppers that have been dried, you reconstitute them, and then you put a variety of different spices in them. The original harissa paste or sauce, as it's referred to, would be from Tunisia. So it's a North African spice blend. But like a lot of those flavors, they've sort of traveled the globe as people have moved and migrated. So one of the dishes we're making today uses harissa, but it's a dish that people in Tunisia would claim, Morocco would claim, and Israel would claim. So it just is all over the place.
Okay, well, we're ready to get to work.
All right, so the first dish that we're making is something cool called shakshuka.
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 I like it. Rolls off the tongue.
It's fun to say, right? Lots of syllables in there and consonants, which you don't get to say very often. And people are crazy about shakshuka around the world.
It smells
good.
This
smell good.
is sort of my own hybrid version of it. Basically, the classic dish consists of tomatoes, peppers, and onions, and that's it. I have added chickpeas, we've added eggplant, we've added feta cheese. So basically it's like a really yummy sort of peppery stew. And then what makes it special is that you crack some eggs in there. Just put them right on top like that. Take your fork and kind of
so don't really mix it in.
No, you don't want to mix it in. The Italians have a dish called eggs in purgatory, which is eggs and tomato sauce. Right? So it's like eggs in hell in the fiery pit. So this is a similar thing, and you just poach it right in the sauce. You let them cook to your heart's content. I love a runny yolk, but not everybody does. So you can have them hard, you can have them soft. You could also finish it right in the oven instead if you don't want to fuss with it on the stove, because you will find that sometimes the eggs, depending, you were talking earlier about killing your skillets all the time.
Yes, I do.
Right. The
I
eggs,
singe them.
depending on how hot your stove is, might stick to the bottom. So putting it in the oven helps with that because it's a slower, softer, more even cooking.
Is this something that you make? Like, how often are you making this? Is this something that you've kind of done for a long time, or?
I will tell you this. I have read about it a lot. I'd eaten it in restaurants, but I'd never made it myself until I was starting to play with harissa. And I made it for dinner a couple weeks ago for my husband, who was all a little like begrudgingly about to eat it because he's like, where's the meat? And he likes seafood. He just was like, where's the protein? And I was like, you're gonna love this. It's delicious.
And your chickpeas.
Yeah, there's chickpeas. There's protein. And I had bought some like little side protein just in case. He ate the whole thing. He thought it was delicious, didn't need anything else. So it's super filling and super tasty.
Oh, nice.
So we can just let that keep going.
Okay.
And I wanted to show you a couple of different ways of getting harissa.
Okay, we need to try this too, right? Okay.
Yes.
Please do. I got you some spoons. The green one is going to be more mild. And like we're seeing right now, the red obviously is perfect for a tomato
Let's
sauce.
start with green.
Yeah.
Maybe I should
Red
go this
means
direction.
fire,
Build our way
right?
up.
Let's see what you think.
Oh, that is good.
It's
It is.
tasty, right?
I will tell you, oh, it's got more kick.
And then it
does.
just hits you.
So now I'm
Have
really
some
nervous
bread.
about
Have
this.
some pita bread. Have some pita.
Oh, okay.
Because
Right?
it definitely has a kick, but I feel like anybody that loves a good heat, anything, this is up your alley.
Right, and you can stir this into a lot of things. You could put it into your regular spaghetti sauce to give it just a little bit of punch.
That'd
You
be
could
good.
put it into a stew if you're making like a beef stew or a lamb stew. It just really elevates the flavors, and there are all sorts of different spices and herbs in there that really give it a different flavor than, say, sriracha or Tabasco or something like that. It has
Where do
Trying
you find this
Yeah.
though? Is this like common? Can you find this in most
Totally.
grocery stores?
You know, it kind of depends on where you're shopping.
Okay.
This one, for example, I know you can get at Whole Foods.
Okay.
I saw that there. I think at like your Kowalski's, Lund's, those sorts
Okay.
of places, you'll be able to find it in the ethnic food section.
Okay.
But you can also order this stuff online. I went to Amazon and I got a whole bevy of different harissa items.
Okay.
And it comes in 2 days if you're a Prime
Oh, look
member.
at
And I'm not
that.
sponsored
I
by
like that.
Be a
Amazon.
Prime member.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you got to talk about this too, because the almonds, I was told that this is like a really good taste.
Yeah, I think these are perfect for like a happy hour to have with a couple of beers. They have a slow burn to them, and I mixed in some honey too. So they're not really sweet, but they have a nice toasty flavor. And they just are
Those are
perfect with
so
a
good.
couple of
Are they?
cocktails, right?
So good.
Yeah. Would you like to
perfect.
try the shakshuka, ladies?
Oh, yeah.
There's a
this one
spoon
over here. What's on the
there,
deck?
and
Okay.
you've got some dishes. Just here, why don't I spoon
Yeah.
it for you?
Well, look
so
at
you don't
this.
make a mess. And I've put peppers in
Thank you.
here, and I've put a few other things. So it is heartier, so it is going to be like a true one-pot meal.
And it's actually really pretty too. If you want to impress
Love it.
somebody that comes over.
Totally. And you were asking how often you can make this.
that's good.
You can make the sauce in advance and freeze it.
Oh, okay.
And then I stir in feta cheese at the end. Skip the feta before you freeze it, and then when you reheat it, stir it in, and you've got an instant brunch when you're kind of feeling foggy on a Sunday
Yeah.
morning or something like that.
One-pot meals are my favorite thing ever.
Totally.
That's like something I can actually do.
Oh my gosh.
And this is so easy. You're using canned tomatoes, you're using canned garbanzo beans. All you have to really do is kind of watch the skillet so that everything is cooking evenly and slowly simmering. The longer it simmers, the more bold the flavors get and more developed.
It is really good.
Yay.
I have to
So
say,
good.
see,
She
this
likes
is.
it.
And it's not too spicy.
It's
That's what
not.
I was nervous about.
I was too. I was like, oh, how's this gonna go? But it's
Right.
awesome.
And
Thank
then
you.
you just soak it up with the bread, whether it's crusty bread,
yep.
pita bread, and you get all those juices.
Now we're
and
talking.
Now we're talking. I'm a
Awesome.
bread girl, so.
Thank you so much, Antigoni. And you,
Yeah.
of course, can head into Cafe 421 on Mondays and Wednesdays for half-price wine at dinner, which is a good deal. Plus, parking can be tough in Dinky Town, but Cafe 421's website has recommendations for the best places to park, and we have a link to her site, plus the recipes on TwinCitiesLive.com under food.